YouTubers, Mike Martin's channel. Mike Martin's here, the one and only. I got a story to tie in with the other story I did 4 stories ago about empty homes in Toronto, empty homes in Vancouver. That's just focusing on the cities. I got a screaming article here. It's on fire, and I want to read this to you guys. It's by Kerry Gold from the Globe and Mail. And it says, BC's empty home problem moving beyond just Vancouver. So we're going out of the city now, baby. Empty homes aren't just Vancouver's problem anymore. They are a problem throughout BC, some municipalities more than others. New data from Statistics Canada 2016 census shows that the story varies from region to region, with Delta seeing major increase and New Westminster enjoying a significant drop. We are struggling to figure out what, in quotations, the data is telling us and what it means. But what makes it even more interesting is the real estate market has been very active in the city of New Westminster, and we've seen significant development and population growth, said New Westminster Mayor Jonathan Cote. To me, it's showing that, for some reason, the investment in real estate here is being driven by those who actually want to live in the community, as opposed to external factors that might be buying strictly for investment purposes. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want, people. You want people to grow the community and not leave the whole town abandoned. New Westminster, one of the region's densest municipalities, saw a 24% decline in the number of empty homes in the 2011-2016 census period. Pitt Meadows saw a 45% drop. Langley, a 14% drop. Port Coquitlam and Port Moody also a small drop-offs. Those regions are filling up instead of emptying out. Once again, the Vancouver brain drain. Everyone's leaving Vancouver and relocating in other cities across the province. Meanwhile, Delta saw a 79% increase in empty or non-resident occupied homes, followed by White Rock 35%, Burnaby, North Vancouver, Richmond, Coquitlam also saw significant increases. Vancouver saw a 15% increase in empty and non-residential units. Wow, that's huge. In quotations, non-resident. Home is defined by their either empty or occupied by a foreign or temporary resident. But most often, the units are empty. Of all the homes in the region that fall into the category of 87% are unoccupied, according to the Urban Features report. Part of the empty home problem is the speculative, I get that wrong every time, buying, which can take the form of a flip, a property to be held or used as short-term rental, such as Airbnb, as opposed to a dwelling that doubles as an asset over time. In Vancouver's downtown, were Coral Harbour, 22.2% empty or non-resident occupied, and the census tracked each of its 18.2%. The effect of short-term rental and seasonal use is probably playing out, but other, less obvious Vancouver neighborhoods also showing signs of emptiness. But I'm pretty sure if some mathematician was to sit down and take all these numbers and put all the numbers to the left for Vancouver, what's happening and how it's being abandoned, and then taking it over to the right to see all the cities that are filling in, like I said at the beginning of the article, where there's cities actually filling in and there's no more empty, the emptiness is disappearing and they're being occupied, you would just see that there would be a massive trend of relocation, of people leaving the city to move out of the city. The Marine Gateway neighborhood has 24% non-resident rate, as the Joyce Collingwood, which is an urban-oriented transit hub. There are 609 empty or non-resident units in the Marine Gateway 791, such as Eunice Joyce Collingwood neighborhood, which is Vancouver's densest neighborhood. That translates into 24.4% non-resident homes. The census data was analyzed and compiled by Andy Yan, a director of Simon Fraser University program. Mr. Yan has been studying the empty and underused home trend for the past 9 years. Now that's true data. That's good. Not the past 9 hours or the past 9 weeks. This gentleman, Mr. Yan, has been following this trend for the past 9 years. Then he goes on to say, speculation is one of our prime suspects, says Mr. Yan. We don't know why, but we know it's contracted in a few neighborhoods. So it basically it's targeting specific neighborhoods or specific areas of the city. Finding out why, almost impossible. It could just be a trend. For many, empty home or undersized homes are tangible proof of the commodification or financialization of housing. Wow. There are those who will argue that an increase of supply is necessary to be subdue the market, to remove the pressure of scarcity. However, housing marks in what Mr. Yan calls hedge cities. Ah, that's a cool name. Hedge cities, such as Vancouver, are fueled by unprecedented wealth coming from outside. Without addressing the speculative nature of the market, how much effect will supply have? So like I said in many videos, a lot of people want to park their money outside of their country. They don't, A, trust their government, B, trust their economy, C, trust their wives, or D, all of the above. Mr. Cote says that a majority of buyers in U.S. Minister are from Vancouver. Density is an ingredient in this question, but there are other factors at play and how a neighborhood functions, at least according to my definition of what a thriving neighborhood looks like, says Mr. Cote. An empty high-rise tower or half-empty high-rise tower is not going to have a lot of vitality for the neighborhood. We are very dense and densifying significantly. But obviously the densification in terms of land use translating into people living in the units, the reality is even without the 50-story towers, New Westminster is one of the most dense communities in all of Metro Vancouver. That's very good. Good to know. Assistant Professor, SFU, School of Public Policy, Josh Gordon says the numbers probably show the migration pattern of young families. That's exactly what it is. My family's young. I'm old. My family's young. I have kids. I got babies. And like I said, my entire street here, and it's really weird. Everyone's from Vancouver. It's all Canadian people from Vancouver that left Vancouver. A police officer, a mill worker. The other guy is the wife is a nurse. All up the street, it's all people from Vancouver. It's weird how we're all here. And on my street, there's 3 mics. I'm one of them. It appears that some suburban municipalities have seen falling rates of non-resident occupied units as young families move away from more expensive central areas in search of affordable housing options, he says. So, while the more expensive areas see an increase in non-resident occupied housing, some cheaper areas experience the opposite pattern. I wouldn't ascribe this dynamic to any local policy initiatives, though, at this point. Wow, the United Nations is weighing in here. Watch this, guys. United Nations reporter on adequate housing, Leanne Farah, has completed her report on the financialization of housing, which she presents to the UN on Wednesday. She began her research when attending a housing conference in Vancouver last summer, where she saw the impact firsthand. She can't speak specifically about Vancouver, but she can speak about the huge crisis that is the buying of residential properties for capital gain. It is no small irony, for example, that the new president of the United States has made his fortune in residential real estate, or that his newest chief advisor is also a chief executive officer of the Blackstone Group, the world's largest residential real estate private equity firm. In her paper, she says that Blackstone purchased $10 billion US worth of American homes that had foreclosed after the economic downturn in 2008 and 2009. Blackstone now manages $102 billion worth of property. Oh, I can stop yawning. So this article goes on for a long time, and I'm going to leave a link below. And then I'm going to go to the last part right here. Mr. Yan's data and Ms. Farah's UN paper aren't attempting to provide definitive answers, but rather are the start of a conversation, they both say. That's what my channel is about, talking. One would think that when it's such a huge part of the world's economies, residential real estate in quotations, would be subject to a debate at high level, says Ms. Farah. Where is the conversation happening? So far, it's not. Well, it's happening here on my channel, on the Mike Martins channel. It's happening here, people. Anyways, I'm putting this video. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and finally, we're getting some numbers, some numbers that we could work with to start forecasting where the housing market is going. And I'm gonna be really frank with you guys. It's not going anywhere good. And you see what's happening in other countries, English-speaking countries, once again, Australia, New Zealand, London, England, Ireland, Scotland's experiencing the same problem. And yeah, we gotta talk, and that's what it's all about. Share this video. It's hard hitting and in your face. Get your people on board to talk about this and make this a key topic when you meet up with friends, you know, to discuss or talk cars. Talk about the housing crisis. When you meet up with friends for coffee and play board games or something, talk about the housing crisis. Bring it up all the time. Talk about it. Talk about it with everybody, because talking about it starts opening doors and creating ideas. Thanks for watching. Big hug. Weigh in. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you, guys.